today we start to look at multiple choice papers. It's always a little difficult. People find them challenging. Whereas you can have an essay where you deal with that topic and you finish. The thing with the multiple choice paper, you have to know everything. You must be able to understand what the question is asking, to know which is the correct answer from a list of answers that are close and similar. That's where the difficulty comes in. And so today I've prepared about 55 multiple choice questions on Unit 1 and all the areas in Unit 1 that we'll be going through. So I find that a better way in terms of we having a revision that we start with the multiple choice. So of course I try to follow the syllabus all the way through in terms of make sure that I have a question on each area in the syllabus. So it's important that you follow. Of course, this will be sent to the ministry so those teachers can actually ask for it afterwards. So here we are, we're starting with question 1. Augusta Combe played a significant role in the development of sociology so this one we're dealing with the first part of sociology. We're dealing with the first part where we are looking at how sociology started, who were the first movers and shakers as far as when sociology was starting as a discipline. So we have question, that's the first question. So we have the first part, identify the sources. So by identifying the sources of social inequality and exploitation. B, considering the differences between sociology and other social disciplines. C, laying the foundation for the use of science to study social phenomena. And D, formulating a hypothesis on the correlation of interaction and symbolism. If you're not careful, all of them sound very familiar, very familiar. But which one is the correct one? Which one seems more plausible? And we say by laying the foundation for the use of science to study social phenomena. Because of course, sociology actually used a positivist approach. What they did was to look at social phenomena using the methodologies of the natural sciences. And so that's why that one is the correct one. Second one, all of the following frame the earliest sociology thinking in the Caribbean except. So here now, part of your syllabus not only spoke to the beginning of sociology, but sociology in the Caribbean. How it started, who were the founding fathers, and so on. So it's important that you are aware. So I've set question on that in terms of the early beginnings of sociology within the Caribbean. So it said that all the following except, so which means that there's one that is out. Careful of questions like these. Make sure you read the questions properly. So we have except colonialism, the Renaissance, slavery, emancipation. Almost all of them seem correct. But however, this is the Caribbean. The Renaissance here is the odd man out. Why? Of course, colonialism affected our sociology. We know that. Slavery, to a large extent, and emancipation. The Renaissance was very instrumental in European sociology, but not in Caribbean sociology. Question 3. So we are saying here for 3, sociology is an important social science because so here now you have multiples of answers and you must decide whether it's 1 and 2, 2 and 4. Make sure you read them properly and make sure you understand which ones are correct and which ones are incorrect. What some people do is you write on the paper, you X out the incorrect one immediately as you read it because it saves the trouble of you coming back and trying to figure which one did I say again, as the case may be. So we said here, so we give you a number of answers. Sociology is an important social science because 1, it explains social patterns in a more logical manner than other social disciplines. 2, encourage the use of critical thinking when dealing with social problems. 3, allows researchers to use common sense to interpret human relations. And 4, highlights parallelism, that is parallel between individual development and society. So here we have 1 and 2 only, 1, 2 and 3 only, 2 and 4 only, 1, 2, 3 and 4 only. So it's important that you decide very early which one is it. So we have here that 1 and 2. So explain social patterns, because sociology deals with social patterns, definitely, in a more logical manner than other social disciplines. Encourage the use of critical thinking when dealing with social problems. Same here. So those two we know, so 1 and 2. Encourages the use, allow researchers to use common sense to interpret human relations. No, not quite. And the last one, highlight parallelism between individual development and society. That's really not the area of sociology. Not quite. So we have that, it is 1 and 2. Question 4. Which of the following is considered to be one of the early founding fathers of Caribbean sociology? Of course, when we come to look at the issue of gender, we'll realize people say, but why a founding father? Why not a founding person? Founding father suggests that it must be a man. So we have George Beckford, Lloyd Brathwaite, Susan Craig, and Rex Nettleford. Of course, from your text or from your interaction with the text, you'll realize that the one here is Lloyd Brathwaite. He is considered the founding father of sociology in the Caribbean. So whereas all the others contribute to sociology in the Caribbean, Lloyd Brathwaite is the person that is considered to be the founding father. Question 5. The prohibition of incest is an example of, we have values, taboo, mores, folkways. Of course, mores is spelled wrong here deliberately. That you, they would say to kind of throw you off, because mores in sociology is spelled M-O-R-E-S, although it is pronounced M-O-R-A-Y-S. So values, taboo, mores, folkways. Now, in terms of incest, taboo, strong sanctions, and incest would attract strong sanctions. So of all the answers there, then incest would be the correct one. Question 6. So which of the following correspond with the functionalist view of society? So I'm taking you now into the sociological series. So we will go into it, we'll come back out again, look at groups, but just to keep, because sometimes the questions aren't always set out in the same manner as on the syllabus. Sometimes you get random questions and things interspersed with other areas. But if you are sharp and know what you know, then it shouldn't bother you. So here we say that which of the following corresponds with the functionalist view of society? You remember that functionalism was the first sociological theory. It was started by Auguste Comte, although majority of the work was done by Emile Durkheim, who took it and did a body of work called structural functionalism. Talcott Parsons are also other structuralists. So we said, which of the following correspond to the functionalist view of society? A, the social system comprises of distinct groups that function in relation to each other for the effective working of society. It kind of makes sense. B, changing one aspect of society will result in the function of a domino effect throughout society. Not so sure. Stratification provides a clear understanding of the dynamic function between the rich and the poor. But if we're talking about functionalist view, stratification is a form of inequality. Why would I go into stratification? And D, power represents the glue that maintains order and function in society. So we would see here that the best response is that A, the social system comprises of distinct groups that function in relation to each other for the effective working of the society. Why is that one correct? We take what we call an organic approach to society. That organic approach came from Spencer, that said that society is like an organism. When you look in the microscope, all the organisms are interconnected and interrelated. So all the parts of society are interconnected and interrelated. 7. Once you gone into socialization, then you would have encountered feral children. Some people say feral, some people say feral children. These are, of course, when they were found, they proved the point that you can born of a human being, but you're not human. And that's kind of paradoxically. How can I born of a human being and I'm not human? Because what happens is that these people, most of them children, were either left, not necessarily alone in the wild. One, Anna, was left in an attic where for about most of her life. When they found her, I think she was about 18 or 19. And she hadn't been outside the house for a long time. And her father fed her through a window in the attic. And so we have these children. What we found out was that they lack human feeling. They didn't know how to cry. They didn't know how to laugh. Where they were found in the jungle or in the forest, they walk on all four like animals. They made animal sound. So which kind of have us thinking. So I can be born of a human being, but I'm not really exactly exhibiting human behavior. Because what it shows is the importance of socialization. So if I'm not socialized to become human, then I'm not human. In fact, one of the definitions we have of socialization is the process by which we learn to become humans. Is not natural, believe it or not, it is not natural. So we have here feral children are children that were raised in the wild. Which of the following statement, question 8, which of the following statement is not true of primary groups? So you would have gone through definition of groups, you have dealt with primary groups, secondary groups, and even tertiary groups in an understanding of that social unit that most of us are part of. So we said, so of course, when you see the question first, it's not true of primary group, which means that most of them will be true of primary groups. So there will be one there that is not true of primary groups. So the first thing you start to do, what are the characteristics of primary groups? You start to go that through your head quickly. And so you look, the relationship are perceived as ending themselves. Yes. You are part of a family, that's it. You're part of a family. There's nothing else that you can't move on from there. So B, the relationship usually involve interpersonal bonds. Yes. It always involves long-term relationships. Yes, because you're in a family. My father is my father, my sister and brothers are my sister and brothers until I die, or they die off before me. And then D, relationships are goal-oriented. Here it is now we are saying, but in my head, in terms of the characteristics of a primary group, they are not goal-oriented because you really just, you're born in a family. It's not that you're in the family for any particular reason. People can use you afterwards, but you're just born into a family. So this one is one that is not true of primary groups. The previous three are true of primary groups. So we move on next to secondary groups. Question 9, which of the following best describe the term secondary group? Again, you start to think of the characteristics of secondary groups. What are the characteristics? Because which of the following best describe the term secondary group? So in your mind, they're going to give you some primary groups. You need to find the correct one that deals with secondary groups. So goal-oriented and strong emotional commitment. You have to be careful. A part of the response can be correct and part incorrect. Here, goal-oriented, strong emotional commitment. So whereas their secondary groups are goal-oriented, they do have strong emotional commitment. That's primary group. Personal and face-to-face interaction, again too, that is, you can find that in secondary groups, but you more find it in primary groups. Goal-oriented and less of an emotional commitment. You go to work at Digicel, you go to work at TVJ, you go to work at NCB. You would have goal orientation. I hope to buy a house in 5 years. I hope to buy a car. I hope to earn enough money that I can get married, because getting married in Jamaica is an expensive venture. And so you really need to earn some good money. So you go there with a kind of goal orientation. So you don't come to TVJ because I like TVJ. TVJ is a nice station. I like being here. I like the people that are here. No, you are here for a purpose. So there's a goal, and if you're not doing that goal, they're going to fire you. Remember, they're going to fire you. So you come with a goal orientation. And of course, there's less of an emotional attachment. That one kind of hard because a lot of us get attached emotionally to our places of work. But guess what? You shouldn't, because you have to separate from that place. Or sometimes you separate, but sometimes they also separate you very early. So try not to have that. So you're not expected to have an emotional commitment and exist to fill a wide range of needs. Could be, but the proper one is goal-oriented and less of an emotional commitment. We'll move on now to number 10. We talk about norms, shared, so we said norms are, here we're asking almost for a definition. A lot of times, some of the the MCQ question, multiple choice question, deals mainly with definition, but not at all times. There are a number of them that you have to critically think through and then decide which ones are the correct ones. So here, this is really asked for the definition. So we say that norms are shared social rules which define incorrect and unacceptable behavior. Could be right. Behavior that are non-conforming. Not quite. Social rules that define punishment and reward. It's not that they are social rules, but they are norms. And so people think of them, but not all norms require reward or punishment. And social rules that ensure that all forms of behavior are standardized in society. So once you see the word standardized, no, that's the norm, because that's why it is a norm. It is normal for us to say good morning when you come into a room. It's a standardized behavior for us to say good morning and how are you. Just like how it is a standardized behavior now to wear a mask on the road during this COVID-19 pandemic. That is normal, and so it is standardized. It is also standardized for your yard. So the correct one is 10, social rules that ensure that all forms of behavior are standardized in society. So then we gone back to socialization, and we're looking here now at re-socialization. So we had said that definition of socialization, the process by which we learn to become human, or the process by which we learn the culture of the society, or the culture of the society passes from one individual to the next. So we're going now into re-socialization. So we start to think re-socialization, and there are a number of things that comes to mind when you think of socialization. So we said is associated with childhood, yes, but is it only childhood that re-socialization? Can I be re-socialized when I'm an adult? Well, adult life, yes, but is it only adult life or adult and childhood? None of the above. Both adult life and childhood, yes, both adult life and childhood. So you are socialized when you're young, but if you have a stroke, or if you have a heart attack, or if you're in a car accident, they have to start to socialize you again, because I've seen people get in bad car accident, have to learn to walk again, have to learn to talk again. That's re-socialization. The person has to be re-socialized again to gain their rightful place in society and function normally. So whether you're a child or you're an adult, then re-socialization can take place. Anywhere throughout your lifespan, re-socialization can take place. The next one now, we move on to culture. We avoid the basic ones that you normally get. What is culture? Because most of you, that's the free one they give you on the MCQ, because most person can define culture. But to deal with the issues to dealing with culture, the characteristics of culture and so on, and also to cultural terms like cultural lag. And so I want to find out what do you mean by cultural lag. The first one that said that is defined as when all parts of the cultural system change at the same rate. That alone should tell you something is wrong. So where's the lag? If they all change at the same rate, so where's this LAG? There's nothing that suggests a lag here. Next one, when one's culture in the global arena, that just kind of just plain. When different parts of a cultural system change at different rates, that's when you start to think. Because we're talking about lag. It means that there's a particular style that is in now. Is it in Kingston before it is in Montego Bay? Or is it in New York before it is in Kingston? And so that's what we refer to as cultural lag, when different parts of a cultural system change at different rates. So you won't find that the fashion started today in New York and it's in Kingston now. Well, with technology and cable TV, we almost do have cultural lag again, but sometimes it will happen. And when one culture falls by another, no. So it's cultural lag, defined as when different parts of a cultural system change at different rates. So that was question 12. So we move on to question 13. So we're going back again to the sociological theories. Sociologists who apply the macro approach to their study of society are mainly concerned with. So you start to think now that we have the micro approach to sociological theory and we have a macro approach. So what comes in your mind first? The macro approach deals with how These are the theorists that take a top-down view of society, a broad view, hence macro, and look at how the large social institution impact the behavior of the individual. So that's macro. Micro view, these are the theorists who look at society from the perspective of the individual, a micro perspective, and look at how the individual look at society and make a decision as what type of behavior I'm going to have. And so we can know which are the theories are macro, so functionalism, Marxist conflict, macro. Micro, we look at issues such as Weber social action perspective. So we're going to see now which one of these best describe the macro approach. So we said A, the impact of social structures and institutions on the people of society. You think of that one? Yes, could be. The gathering of qualitative data for sociological researches, that can be done whether macro or micro. That is not necessarily macro. That can be micro or macro. The actions of people and their impact on social changes. Again, that can be micro, that can be macro. The meanings people attach to different symbols and materials in society. Here we're talking about symbolic interactionism, which is a micro. The question said, socialists who apply the macro approach. So we go back and we said, the first one, the impact of social structures and institutions on the people of society. That one will more describe a macro approach. As we said, for the macro approach, we take a top-down view of society and look at how the large-scale social institutions impact the individual. So for example, a simple thing like you're going to work this morning. The macro sociologists will say that you are here this morning with clothes on only because society forces you to wear clothes. If society didn't force you to wear clothes, God knows what we would see inside the studio this morning. All of us would just keep on laughing. And so, so that's the macro approach. So it is not that I decide to wear clothes, but all the social institutions. So for example, if I left my home this morning without clothes, the first policeman I passed and pulled me over and said, Ward 21, can I have a bed? I have one that is gone. Gone. Because the institutions in society are saying that no, in going out in society we expect you to wear clothes and so on. So that's the one. Fifth thought, we move on now to the next one, Caribbean culture. Now, you have culture in many different parts. In fact, your syllabus, right throughout the various parts of the syllabus, engages with issues of culture. And so from time to time, I segue and give another one on culture. Then the syllabus is also specific in terms of Creole culture, in terms of plantation society culture, and so on. So here, we are saying that Caribbean culture is an amalgam of, in terms of come together, of European heritage and culture. Yes, Europeans are here and their cultures are here. Indigenous heritage and culture, yes, the Tainos, the Kalinagos were here, erroneously called Araks and Carib. African heritage and culture, yes, we also have African heritage and culture. So is it all of the above? Yes, it is all of the above. It is all of the above. So we'll move on to question 15. A society where there's a high level of reverse socialization shows that. So we start to think now, what's the definition of reverse socialization? And in our mind, this is when the children are teaching the parents how to use a computer. So the question here hasn't shown that in terms of as an option. So it means that you have to critical think. So if the children are teaching the parents to use a computer, what's happening in society, why that type of socialization is reversed to that level? Because generally it is the parents who are teaching the children. And so, which is why, so we look at the different respondents. Education is changing to meet the needs of people. Not so sure. That one doesn't ring a bell. Social change is rapid and continuous. Possible. Which is why it moves so fast that the parents aren't trained to use. So we do have a class where, okay, parents, come and learn how to use the new iPhone. Parents, come and learn how to use the new laptop. No. because it's changing so fast. And so that one we tick that one and we'll read the others. People have to keep on learning in order to be productive members of society. That one close, but is it that they have to keep on learning? Do you plateau at a point? And the last one, there is little technological development in that society. No, that one is totally out. So we come back. A society where the high level of reverse socialization shows that education, that social change is rapid and continuous. This one you have to critically think. It wasn't one that you could just pick an answer. So that was number 15. Number 16, we are again back to reverse socialization. So we said that reverse socialization occurs not in total institution. For those who don't remember what we mean by total institution, total institution is where they make an effort to radically change your behavior. It was a term that was developed by Irving Goffman, because sometimes that's what they ask you, who developed the term total institution. So a sanitarium, what we in Jamaica call a madhouse, is a total institution. A prison is a total institution. The thinking is that you're going as half crazy, but you come out as being sensible, and so on. And so we look at this one. So reverse socialization is not that they reverse or you think in terms of socialization. So we said not in total institution. B, in executing everyday activities, could be. C, when adults learn from children, this is the one that we say is part of the definition, and so that's the correct one. And we said only in total institution, so no. So the answer is C, when adults learn from children. So we move on to number 17. So here, again, we're going back to the beginning of sociology. Now, I don't know if you remember that all the founding fathers were positivists. What do you mean by positivist? Because positive means scientific. They were all scientific in their approach to sociology. So we continue here by saying positivists argue that sociology is a science mainly because, so you start to think now, what was the definition of positivism? And we said that positivists uses the methodologies of the natural sciences to understand social phenomena. The plural is phenomena. The singular is phenomenon. So what you're able to do, you're able to use the methodologies of the natural sciences to understand social phenomena. So we see which one of them best agree. Facts about society are formulated through observation, yes. Humans are scientific in nature, not necessarily. Personal opinion and biases can be kept out of social research, that is correct. Sociologists discover new traits and behavior akin to scientists. This one could be, but let us look at one. Facts about society are formulated through observation, yes, and personal opinions and biases are kept out of sociological research. It's very difficult for them to be kept out, but they are kept out. And so that's actually 1 and 3, which is C. Last one, Durkheim posits that the division of labor is, now if you remember Durkheim again, he did majority of the work on functionalism. Hold people together for life, is a source of conflict, is important in industrial societies, all of the above. When we return, we will continue. If you have any questions on what we have done so far, you can send them in on our various platforms, and I will see if I can answer them in the final segment. When we come back, we'll answer your questions and wrap up. Thank you for staying in touch with TVJ Schools Not Out. See you soon.
Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much for watching. Hi there, I'm Simon Preston.
COVID-19 tip. Protect yourself and others from getting sick by washing your hands after coughing or sneezing, when caring for the sick, before, during, and after you prepare food, before eating, after toilet use, when hands are visibly dirty, and after handling animals or animal waste.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with a cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or the nearest health center and share your travel history. The flu and coronavirus can kill. Let's protect each other. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present Schools Not Out, CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly Schools Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Schools Not Out, live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ.
Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much for watching.
COVID-19 tip. Protect yourself and others from getting sick by washing your hands after coughing or sneezing, when caring for the sick, before, during, and after you prepare food, before eating, after toilet use, when hands are visibly dirty, and after handling animals or animal waste.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses.
Welcome back to Schools Not Out, your daily classroom for CSEC and CAPE students. Today we have been discussing the Sociology multiple choice paper, the CAPE paper, and we have gone through a number of questions. So we'll continue. What we don't finish this week, we'll finish next week, and we'll also start Unit 2 next week. So we were at question 18, where Durkheim posits that the division of labor. Now it's important for you to remember, for the functionalist, Durkheim was a functionalist. For the functionalists, the division of labor was what was very important to them. Again, we have to put things in perspective. They were the first sociological perspective. So they came into industrial society and were fascinated with industrial society. So for them, remember again, Taylor, Frederick Winslow Taylor, was the person who introduced the concept of division of labor. So rather than one person doing 20 different activities, then you have 20 people doing 20 different activities. That one person can hold you ransom. If one is missing, it doesn't take long to find somebody who can fill that slot. So that's why we have division of labor. So for the functionalists, it was what causes social change for them. So it was very important for them. So Durkheim posits that the division of labor, A, holds people together for life, not quite. Is a source of conflict, although it is, but it wasn't their argument. It's important in industrial societies. Yes, it was, because of course, they are just that sociological theory, which was first on the scene, also came into industrial society, and we're aware of the importance of division of labor. We're going back again to socialization. Here we are saying socialization is a lifelong process, yes. B, ends after the teenage years. Well, if it's lifelong, then that would exert that one. Help us to build better friendship. It should, but it's not really why the question was asked. Because, for example, if you are, you may have better friendship if you are properly socialized. But how do we decide what is proper socialization and whose socialization, mine or yours? None of the above. So it is a lifelong process. So socialization is a lifelong process. So sociology arose as a scientific discipline during the period characterized by, we go back again to the history in terms of when sociology started. So there was a lot of turmoil in Europe. In fact, one of the definitions we have of sociology is that sociology was developed to account for the many changes that accompanied industrial society. Because there was a lot of changes that started from before Reformation, right through to French Revolution, to Industrial Revolution, and so on. So sociology arose as a scientific discipline during the period characterized by A, relative peace and tranquility, allowing time for contemplation. I guess that's what COVID had done to us, allow us time for contemplation. But no. Reliance on the writings of classical philosophers for understanding human experience, no. Social and philosophical ferment and upheaval, this was what was happening in Europe. There were social ferment and there were also philosophical ferment. There were issues as to how should the gospel be interpreted. So we had the Reformation. Because remember, we had the Catholic Church, and then people broke away from the Catholic Church and became Protestant. So all the religions that are not Catholic are Protestant. So this happened during that time. That kind of gave an impetus, a push for Auguste to come to develop sociology. So that's the correct one, social and philosophical ferment and upheaval. 21, which of the following statements about culture would be accepted by the functionalist? So here we're asking about how the functionalist sees culture. And so one, culture is shaped by ideologies of ruling class. That one don't sound very functionalist, that one sounds very Marxist. Culture is linked to the economic changes of society. Could be, but also that very Marxist. Culture promotes social change within society. Yes, it does. And culture is influenced by the social institutions. So the last two, culture promotes social change within society, yes. And culture is influenced by social institutions of society. 3 and 4, that is correct. Which of the following statement is true about feminist theory? Remember as well that you have functionalism, Marxist conflict, social interactionism, and feminism as your 3 sociological theory. So we have to engage with all 3 of them, all 4. So I'll give you a question on all 4. So I've gone now to feminist theory. So which of the following statement is true about feminist theory? A, the world is socially constructed, thus a positivist methodology is unlikely to be adopted. You could think of it as the world, well, for them, yes, because gender is a social construction. You're born male or you're born female, but you are constructed, socially constructed, feminine or masculine. B, focus on people's lived experience with the aim of empowering women or bringing about change in their circumstances. That is also true. We're born out of the need to go beyond mainstream sociology. And notice the term mainstream as opposed to mainstream. And we realize here that all 3 of them are correct. So D said all of the above. So the world is socially constructed, thus a positivist methodology. Focus on people's lived experiences and the aim of empowering women or bring about change in their circumstances, definitely. We're born out of the need to go beyond mainstream sociology. So we move on to the next one. And so 23, laws are the most important norms within a society, because here it is now, we're going back to culture, but laws is a peculiar part of our culture because laws are codified, and laws, if you break them, you can end up in prison and so on. So laws are the most important norms within a society because they attach to formal sanctions that sound correct. They ensure the safety of the general population, somehow, but laws by themselves can't ensure the safety. They are recognized by all members of society. We would hope so. They are determined by the values and beliefs of society. This is one which all the answers are close, so you want to look at which one is most correct. They are attached to formal sanctions, because all the laws, there's a sanction attached to it. What happens if you don't social distance? What happens if we have 20 people at a party or at a church? There is a law now, and so there are sanctions. So that is A. The main theories associated with functionalism as a perspective are, this question I deliberately put it there so you can understand the ins and outs of multiple choice question. So Talcott Comte. Now you will quickly think you see Talcott, that is Parson, and not Comte, so that is incorrect. Emile Spencer, but Emile is Durkheim, is Herbert Spencer. Auguste Durkheim is Auguste Comte and Emile Durkheim. So it's really none of the above. But just to ensure that because you would quickly just go and start to shade. Oh, Emile, okay. Yeah, no, read through all the different sections properly. Next one, the main critics of functionalist theory as a sociological perspective is R. Now remember again, first theory, functionalism. The second theory, Marxist conflict, was done as a criticism of functionalist perspective. And so here we look for who was the Marxist here, Karl Marx. So that one is Karl Marx. The focus of the Marxist perspective is that A, conflict is the starting point for the analysis of society. Makes sense. The economy forms the base or infrastructure of society. That is definitely Marxist. C, the superstructure is formed from or influenced by the infrastructure. That also makes sense. And D, all of the above. And if you remember, in case you're trying to figure out what is the superstructure, the values and belief. And the values and belief are associated with the infrastructure. In other words, hard to say it, you might not agree, but money determines your values. Yes, but not everybody in society. Yes, but majority of people, money determines their values. So the values and belief, and so that's the superstructure. And we say money, the economy, form the base or the infrastructure. So that is all of the above. 27. According to Emil Durkheim, society is held together by, and we have a host of things that are also very close. Conflict, no. Conflict was not a major issue for the functionalists. They believe we have conflict, but it's no big deal. Values and beliefs, yes, but Talcott Parson was the one that placed emphasis on values and beliefs, not Emil Durkheim. The collective conscience, that was Emil Durkheim. And interaction is all for the sociologists. So the collective conscience is what, according to Durkheim, holds society together. Sociologists who apply the macro approach to their study of society are mainly concerned with, we did this one already. So the next one. What central insight was illustrated in Emil Durkheim's study of suicide? Remember, this was the first time a study was being done about suicide. And Durkheim showed that if you were Protestant as opposed to a Catholic, you were most likely to commit suicide. If you were unmarried as opposed to married, you were more likely to commit suicide. So here he took a social phenomena, but show how different groups of people would react differently to it. So if you're a married man, you're less likely to commit suicide. Why? You have family to live for. You know, you can't just live for the world, so you have your family to live for. So he showed that these social issues determine who committed suicide and who didn't. So we're asking, what central insight was illustrated in Durkheim's study of suicide? That society is held together by solidarity. Yes, true, but let's see if that's the most correct one. Society is held together by loose social contracts, not quite. Society is held together by social stratification. Well, the functionalists see social stratification as natural, but it's not held together by social stratification. And society is held together by a canonical decree. Like the Pope said, don't do that, and you don't do it. That's what we call a canonical decree. No. So the correct answer here is A. Society is held together by solidarity. So we move on to number 30. Comes early contribution, we did that one already. 31. Feminists criticize the discipline of sociology because, again, we're going back to feminist theory. A, it was too interpretive. B, it was too dominated by men. C, it was too deterministic. And C, the suffragette movement. It was B, it was, they criticized that being too dominated by men, that sociology itself was dominated by men. And so, which is why it was criticism. And so we will finish the rest of them next week. We look at interactionists and we have other questions. And so it's important that you get a feel of the social, of the MCQs as you prepare for CAPE. That's all today for CAPE Sociology, multiple choice papers. We hope you grasp most of the points we discussed. You can catch a repeat of today's lesson on JNN today at 4 p.m. and in the Schools Network highlights on Saturday between 1 and 4 p.m. It also will be on video on demand on One Spot Media right here on TVJ. Until next time, I'm Orville Beckford, your sociology teacher. Next up, we have mathematics, CXC mathematics. Have a good day and stay COVID-free. Stay inside and do your lesson.
Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much for watching. Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much for watching. Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest